Guys, welcome to the video. Today we're going to be going through a carb load because we are one day out from Hyrox Malaga tomorrow, which is our first Hyrox ever, and today we need to eat carbs so that we have energy to actually do it tomorrow. So in the video I'm going to bring you through exactly what I'm doing, the meals I'm eating, why do we even need to carb load, what's the point in it, and yeah, we're just going to talk about food for a lot of the video, which I am not mad about. So let's get into it. Okay, first things first, what are my macros for today? So today I'm going to be hitting 500 grams of carbs, 200 grams of protein, and 60 grams of fat, which comes in just under 3,500 calories, about 3,470. So quite a bit of food today, which I'm excited about because I've been dieting for a few weeks now, and this is my first kind of refeed slash carb load. So firstly, why are we carb loading, or what is it? So the reason being is easy analogy. Imagine you're driving your car, you have a petrol tank, right? If you don't fill up the tank, what happens? It's going to run on empty. So especially when you're going into an event in something like a Hyrox where we want to perform as best we can, we want to fill up the tank. And that's essentially what it is. So we're taking in carbohydrates, which is the body's best form of energy. It's going to go and get stored in our muscles so that it can be used for energy tomorrow. Also, making sure that we rest this week so that we're letting the fatigue drop down and we can be at our best tomorrow. So it's kind of like a mixture of eating more carbs, rest and recovery, so that you can give 100% to the actual event or race. Now, there's also like research about this. I think it can improve performance by up to like 30%, which again is absolutely massive. And the first tip I give you with carb loading or refeeding is to make sure you plan it in advance, because it's not your typical day of eating. You need to actually plan it so that you know what you're consuming, when you're consuming it, and how to structure your day to hit your targets. Because what we want to do here is we want to bring up carbs, but we don't want to have fats too high or protein too high, because then calories are just going to be way too high. And also fats will slow down digestion. And on something like a carb load, we don't want that. We don't want to be feeling kind of sluggish, bloated, those type of things. We want to make sure that the carbs get to where we need to go as efficiently as possible. So now I'm going to drink coffee, do some work, and then we're going to eat some food. Morning coffee, hydration. Don't forget, hydrate before you caffeinate. I've already had like 500-600 minutes before this, and this is actually my second coffee, to be honest. But I always have, first thing in the morning, 500 to a litre of water, then coffee. All right, so first feeding of the day, we call it, not breakfast, pre-breakfast snack. It's about 9 a.m. I wouldn't usually eat this early, but because I'm carb loading, I have a lot of food to get in, I want to split it up evenly across the day. And that's actually a mistake that I see so many people making is, well, one, you have to plan your food. Two then is they end up having to cram a load of food in a short period of time. And especially when you're trying to take on a lot of carbs, it's not going to be good for digestion, can leave you feeling sluggish. So you want to make sure that you space it out across the day. This meal is one of my favorite. If you're a client, I will have told you about this. If you've done a carb load before, this is like my go-to snack. So we have a bagel, banana, 20 grams of honey. So what does that come out to? I should know this off by heart. It's about 400 calories, 80 carbs. So we have 420 calories, 85 grams of carbs. This meal, again, it's very convenient, easy, takes 2 seconds to make, and it tastes really good. And you're also getting a lot of really good nutrients here. I put a bit of salt on it as well. So you have sodium, potassium with the banana, fructose and glucose. And then you have honey in there as well, which is just unreal bit of sweetness. Yeah, it's my go-to and such an easy way to get in, 85 grams of carbs. And this, I'm gonna eat it slow, but it could be gone in like 10 seconds. So yeah, I have this now before breakfast, and then I'll show you what breakfast looks like.
Well, actually, before that, let's talk about another couple of mistakes. So we talked about planning first, not actually planning your food, which is really important because you're not eating the same way you usually do. Second, we talked about spreading it out across the day evenly so that you're not just ending up trying to cram a load of food in. The next is food choices. A lot of people make poor food choices on these days, and there's kind of two different ways to look at this. One is because I'm taking on a large amount of carbohydrates, like 500 plus today. If I was to just eat like sweet potato, 500 grams of carbs, yeah, good, very good for satiety. It's gonna be very full, but again, gonna be bloated, sluggish. There's a lot of food to get through. So for me, I'm gonna make sure I choose easily digestible choices, and you'll see that across the day. Again, even the bagel banana here, very, very easy to digest. 85 grams of carbs, even that food volume, if you compare that to like 85 grams of potatoes, sweet potatoes, there's a lot more eating in that. So food choices are really important. And there is a mixture also, again, where you can use some simple carb choices, whether it's like cereal, honey, jam. What other ones is there that people use? Squares, bars, all these things. Again, you want to make sure most of your food is good quality, but you can use some simple, easy digestible choices to help kind of get to that carb level without having to, have 4 kilos of potatoes. But in saying that, then a lot of people sometimes make mistakes with their food choices as they kind of just eat random stuff as well. You want to make sure that it digests well for you, and that you really don't want to be just consuming random things that you haven't consumed in a long time, because again, it might not digest well. And that's where even like these food choices, one is it's kind of the normal foods I eat day to day, and then foods that I'm adding in, I've already had these in, I know they digest well for me. Previous, like when I do long runs and stuff, I will have consumed these, and again, I'm used to it. So that's another kind of mistake that people tend to make with carb loading. Bagel number 1 of 2 of the day consumed. I'll be having that exact same meal later on. But something I was just thinking is, obviously we've talked about like carb loading, but I haven't explained how much should you actually consume? How big should your carb load be? And really with this, the main thing that determines how much is going to be your size and the amount of muscle mass you have. So, because essentially what we are aiming to do, like I was talking about with filling that tank, we want to fill glycogen stores, get them topped up as high as much as possible. So they say around 6 to 10 grams per kilogram of body weight. And to put that into numbers for you, let's say you're a 60 kg female, that's going to be on the low end 360 grams of carbs, on the high end 600, so 360 to 600. If you're a 100 kg male, that's going to be 600 grams of carbs to 1,000 grams. So as you can see from them numbers, it's going to be quite a lot of carbs for people. And that's where you can actually do this over 24, 48, or even 72 hours. So like 1 to 3 days before the competition or event that you have. I actually am a fan of splitting it up over like 2 days, sometimes even 3. Reason being, again, especially if you're on the higher end, consuming that much in 1 day is just a lot. Like, for example, even for myself, I've been dieting, so I've been consuming like 250, 300 grams of carbs. If I just went and consumed 1,000 grams of carbs, it's going to be quite difficult. It's a huge amount of food. Like, my digestive system will literally come to work that day and be like, hey, what are you after doing? What? I did not know when I woke up this morning that this is what I was coming to work for. So I would prefer to actually split it. And like, this is my second day. So I done 500 the day before, and I'll do 500 today. And I'll probably, because we're not on till tomorrow evening, I'll have quite a lot of carbs tomorrow as well. Trial and error is another thing here. You kind of know what works best for you. Me personally, I actually go through a lot of carbohydrates. Yeah, it's like I'm nearly like there's a hole in my leg or something. So I actually have to have a very, very big amount. And you'll kind of find your sweet spot. A lot of people don't eat enough. It's another big mistake is they don't fuel enough. I see it time and time again. Again, I don't know, there's some people, there's a psychological thing about eating more carbs, and yeah, they just end up either not consuming enough total calories and carbs, or again, they won't go high enough in carbs because of their food choices, and fats and protein will end up being too high. So again, that's where it comes down to planning, and then feedback, monitoring, seeing how you actually respond to it is key. And then obviously making changes over time. And even for myself, from doing half marathons and that before, I think I nearly have it down to a T in terms of what suits me, but it did take a few goes to get it right. And again, I might screw up the next time. But yeah, that's kind of how much you should be consuming.
Okay, so we got meal one here. This is my normal breakfast that I have every day. So this meal, 3 slices of sourdough, around 70 grams of avocado, 1 full egg, 200 grams of egg whites. I'm in Spain, egg whites are really cheap here. You literally have to remortgage your house if you're in Ireland, but here they're cheap. Macros on this meal, 630 calories, 44 grams of protein, 68 carbs, 18 grams of fat. So something else as well, make sure you season your food. If you don't season your food, I don't know what's wrong with you. Also, everyone knows this is the goat.
Oats, gone. So that meal was 100 grams of oats. Let me tell you what else is in it. Scoop of protein, almond milk, 250 mils of almond milk, 100 grams of blueberries, some chia seeds. So that is another one of my staple meals I basically eat every day. I'm talking 690 calories, 40 grams of protein, 80 carbs, 16 grams of fat. So for me, that meal is like one of the GOAT meals. It's just so versatile. It's like LeBron James. He can play any position on the floor. Oats is the same. Because you can change this depending on what you like, how many calories you have. You can make it high protein. You can add, if you need more carbs here, you could add honey to it. You could add a banana. You could add granola. You could just have a bigger portion of oats, whatever you need. And they're handy. You can actually bring them with you. You can create overnight oats. Eve has created 100 different recipes of overnight oats. So yeah, they're just so easy. And that is the next meal. We still have a good bit of food left. On to the next. Okay, so we are back in the kitchen again, preparing the sushi rice for dinner today. We love, well, more Eve than me, Tilda sushi rice. Is it overpriced? Does it taste the exact same as normal rice? Probably. I don't know. Are we being placeboed into thinking it's actually nicer? Who knows? I'm still trying to perfect rice in the rice cooker as well. Still haven't found the perfect ratio. I don't know. It's annoying. I'll get there one day. They reckon just like a finger's worth above the rice. That's the latest thing I'm trying. Hopefully. So we're back again with another meal. I feel like I'm doing nothing but eating today, but technically that's what I'm doing. So here we have 120 grams of sushi rice, salmon fillet, a little bit of rocket, 100 grams of mango, and we say 100 grams of beetroot. So that meal comes out to 793 calories, 40 grams of protein, 112 carbs, and 18.5 grams of fat. So a solid meal. And also here, there's a few really cool things. You're getting glucose and fructose with the mango and the white rice. You're getting some nitrates with the beetroot. And although the salmon is high in fat, there's a lot of anti-inflammatories in it. So it's a really solid meal. If you did want to keep fats down, go for something like chicken or turkey. And funny enough, there has been an incident or an issue. I already said earlier in the video about planning your food and spacing it out and all the things that you should do and shouldn't do. Well, I actually forgot. Eve made these kind of homemade oat and date bars. I didn't include it into my macros, so I had to add it in because I want to have it. But I had to shift things around, so there's no bagel, honey, and banana. I don't know can I fit it, or else I'm gonna have to take out my creamy from later on. But something has to change anyway to help me hit my macros. But look, that's life. Make a plan. Plans don't always go to plan. Everything's not perfect, but we'll get it sorted. So I'm gonna eat this, and you're probably gonna see me eat again soon. Okay, so now we are prepping the next meal. which is kind of a snack. So I'm going to be having orange kiwi. I would usually have Ninja Creamy protein ice cream, but because I need carbs, I've taken that out and I've put in bagel, honey and banana, and then later on Eve has some type of snack bar, that oat date bar med. So key thing with fruit here is it has to be cut a certain way. I don't care what you say, but it's cut a certain way, it actually tastes nice. So Eve's not allowed to cut the fruit, I have to cut it. I'll show you what I mean when I'm done. It also actually needs to be presented a certain way as well. Not just cut, it needs to go on the plate, lined up. You see what I mean? That's aesthetic. It's probably going to be a good sunset. Oh yes, there will be. It's pretty sick. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is the morning after the night before, and I'm just here having my morning coffee and contemplating my life choices, to be honest. Why did I sign up for Hyrox? No, I need to, last night, the last couple of meals, I want to give you the macros, because being honest, I just got lazy last night and didn't want to do it. I just wanted to chill out. So we had a meal with bagel, banana, honey, kiwi, orange, some homemade granola. That was 640 calories, 16 grams of protein, 125 carbs, 4 grams of fat. And then we had Eve's homemade, what would you call it? Like an oat and date energy bar, which you see looked unbelievable. The size of it as well was like 350 calories, 6 grams of protein, 50 carb, and 12 fat. So totals for the day, and that's actually interesting. The bar she made, like super healthy. It's, I think, oats, dates, I don't know what else is in it, like presume almond milk, protein powder, no, not even protein powder. Just oats and dates is the base of it. So it's all like healthy ingredients, but you can see how actual high in calories and carbs it is. And it's one of those things where when I'm on a deficit, I wouldn't be having that because it's too high in calories, too dense. And I mean, for 350 calories, it doesn't have any protein, and I can nearly get a full meal of a protein, carb source and veg for that amount, which I just thought was interesting, but it was unbelievable. Melted dark chocolate actually on top of it, that's what it is as well, and I think there's cocoa powder in it. It's all coming back to me now. So moving on, macros for the day yesterday was 3,640 calories, 170 protein, 535 grams of carbs, and 75 grams of fat. Honestly, fat was probably a bit high, but again, that was just poor planning on my part, and it's not too bad. We will get over it. So that is my carb load done. So essentially I've done 2 days. I will have more carbs today because we're not on till like 7 p.m. And what's interesting is my weight. So after 1,020 grams of carbs over the last 2 days, my weight has not moved. It stayed the exact same, and I kind of knew it would, funny enough. And it's one of those things, I think I said it in the video, I respond quite well to carb loads and carbohydrates, refeeds in general. So it just kind of, it's crazy how mad the body can be. But just to explain it, okay, so like what is that, or why is that happening? Because especially when you take on carbohydrates, again, that's 1,020 grams of carbs. Each gram of carbs comes with 3 grams of water. So it should technically, and it's a lot of food volume, technically I should be gaining weight. But a few different things. Number one is my NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, goes up when I eat carbs. There's a really good example of this. Before taking the carb loads a few days ago, in the evenings, I was like stuck to the couch, right? Because I was absolutely wrecked by that time. I'm dieting as well, pretty hard at the moment. Literally, the day I had the carb load, at 8 p.m, I was out hanging the washing, dancing in the sitting room, definitely not on camera, but like just going around, like my buzzing. My energy expenditure just gone through the roof. And then the next thing is I've also dropped, pulled back, basically rested for the last few days. So I've been training quite hard up to this. I would have been quite depleted and quite fatigued and holding a lot of inflammation and water retention. So essentially what is happening, I'm taking on this food, but also when you take on carbohydrates, spikes insulin, which then can help reduce cortisol. So again, it's like essentially my muscles are getting full of glycogen, and then excess water retention is leaving the body, which is kind of just balancing itself out, which is why I'm weighing the same. Which is like, it's a kind of a mad concept, to be honest. And also the thing here, just because it's happening to me does not mean that will happen to you. Just be mindful of that. But it's part of the whole, why this whole process is just interesting. I find anyway, maybe I need to get a life. But just to recap, thanks for watching the video. I want to kind of recap so for yourself, because we went through a lot, and just how maybe to approach your carb loads. So initially, how much? 6 to 10 grams of carbohydrates per kg of body weight. We want 24 to 72 hours before the event. So 1 to 3 days. This is going to depend on preference, how much you're going to consume. Food choices, you want to make sure you're spreading those carbs, actually macros first. So obviously high carb, we want low fat, moderate protein. Reason being, we want to help manage digestion and also not bring calories too high. Then food choices. Firstly, we want to split the carbs up throughout the day. You don't want to just have all your carbs in one meal. Try to split them out evenly. Make sure you plan ahead, because food choices are going to be different than what you would usually do. And with that, especially when you're taking on the higher amount of carbs, you're going to probably have to use some simple, easily digestible carbs along with the usual kind of good quality carbohydrate sources. Also, if you want to be a pro, try to mix glucose and fructose with your meals. It's just going to help with absorption. Then what else do we need to do? Hydration is another key one, which I mentioned. When you're taking on more carbs, you'll even feel it. Even today, I'm thirstier. But also think of water like a taxi. It helps take the carbs to where they need to go, which is super, super important. So that is another one. And then I would say, especially if you're carb loading for an event, make sure you really, really dial in sleep and rest. Actually rest and recover. Happens so many of my clients, I nearly want to shake them. I'm like, they rest, but then they do a million things. They're actually running around like headless chickens doing 100 other stressful things. It's like, literally relax. And especially when you're eating your meals, try to do it in a non-stress state. Try not to rush. Again, chew your food. It's going to all help with digestion. If you can, get out for short walks in between meals. Again, all these things are just going to aid in digestion. And then, apart from that, I think you're good. Probably missed 1 or 2 things, but there's enough there for you. So thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some value from it. I will have another video about the actual Hyrox event itself and kind of a recap of hopefully telling you that we smashed it, and just in general how Hyrox has been for us over the last few months. So yeah, look out for that. Do, if you like the video, subscribe, drop a comment, all that stuff. It does help me as I go on this weird journey of talking to myself in a camera on my balcony. But yeah, until the next one.